All roads lead to the vein.
Hey, what's up? This is episode 95 of Shatter the Vain. My name is Brad Chmielewski, and this is an exciting week, exciting time for Vainglory. We've got patch 1.7. We're coming off of PAX East. VIPL is starting here in like a week or so. Whew, a lot of exciting stuff in this game. And 1.19, we're gonna see some new heroes, some new items. Like I can't wait. This game has got me pumped and excited again to make some great content, make some great videos for everyone. But here on episode 95, it's going to be a little different. We're not going to go over any news. We're not going to go gameplay or crazy game stories or even any emails. We're just going to talk to some of the guys from Hammers eSports. We got Rage and SuiJeneris joining me, talking about the transition from Halcyon Hammers to Hammers eSports and moving into other mobile games like Super Senso and CSGO and or CSI, not CSGO. CSGO is a different game, but more mobile games and what's in store for them as an organization and moving into other regions. Oh man, it's awesome. And a big congratulations to them for winning the first qualifier of the Spring series. This is a fun episode. We talk all about that. We talk about the future and why they didn't go to the VIPL. We saw Gangstars Serious leaving for that, jumping on their plane and heading to play. Hopefully them or Team Phoenix will take home the trophy for NA. And I'm pumped to talk to these guys. So let's jump in this episode 95.
Shatter the Vain, a podcast about vainglory.
Hey, and welcome to Shatter the Vain. My name is Brad Chmielewski, and this is a podcast all about vainglory. On every episode, we're going over news, gameplay, game tips, and hopefully we can all become better players together. This episode got something special. I got Hammers eSports joining me to talk about their recent win, the transition, and moving forward into the second qualifier of the spring season here. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Glad to be on this podcast. How's it going?
Good. So quickly, or you want to introduce yourself, Rage? You have been on before.
I have.
But for people that didn't miss that one or don't know who you are, you want to introduce yourself again?
So I am Rage. I am the, I guess you could call me the general manager of Hammers eSports. I've been with you guys for almost a year now, and I used to do a lot more on the coaching side, but now I'm getting back to just the overall management of the organization.
Okay.
That's it. I'm not really a player anymore. I kind of just walk.
Cool. And I'm SuiJeneris. I'm the head coach for Hammers eSports and competitive player for Kinetic. So glad to be on the podcast.
Yeah, this is great. I got to meet you guys both at the live finals at the Red Bull Arena, and that was pretty awesome. So great to have you guys on here now. So I wanted to ask, first off, congratulations on the recent win of the qualifier. That was fantastic gameplay. I want to get to that, but first I wanted to talk about the recent transition or the formation of Hammers eSports, and I guess maybe a why and kind of what happened here.
Yeah, sure. I can take that question on. I think there's a lot of good reasons why, and I'll go over the main reasons. I think as an organization, we looked at the long term. So we looked at not only Vainglory. Vainglory will always be our main focus as an organization, but we're expanding into other mobile games such as Super Senso's Turbo or Turbo Super Senso, as well as Critical Ops, etc. So we wanted to form an organization that kind of reflected that in terms of the global mindset of approaching multiple esports mobile games. And also some of it has to do with what we believe as an organization. We believe that we exist solely for our players and our members, and supporting those players and our members to help grow the organization as a family really aligned with those core values. So we had to kind of part ways with a certain individual from House and Hammers that kind of, because we believe that our organization exists not to serve kind of the self-interest of an individual, but for an entire family of players and members. So that's why Hammers Esports was created. We kind of had to part ways. So a lot of people talk about, they had a lot of drama or they split up. It's not really the case. It's really an entire organization moving over to formalize under a new LLC with one person who owns the former LLC kind of parted ways there. So that's it. That's really all there is to that story. But really, really excited about the direction going forward. I mean, there's a lot of things in the works. Rage has been working really hard along with the rest of the leadership team in terms of, a lot of things that we're working with sponsors, with upcoming events, with our competitive teams, etc. So this is like our golden age right now. And I'm really excited to see what the next 1, 2, or even 5 years looks like.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now saying other games, because Halcyon Hammers, it does. The Halcyon Fold, it screams Vainglory, and as you go into another game, if it happened to be another MOBA comes out at some point, you're like, yeah, but we're Vainglory first, and kind of maybe the other organization wouldn't back you then or be supportive of that team then.
Yeah, it's definitely supportive of our larger goal of just being this true mobile esports organizations. But I think there's not that many that exist right now. It's kind of like a new venture, so we're kind of happy to be kind of trying to pave some of that path. I know a lot of other smaller organizations, not just within Vainglory, look to us. Like, for example, like we started to show interest in COPS, and there was already like COPS clans and stuff like this. Like, FPS guys are like, yeah, the Halcyon Hammers are here. Like, this is like, it's kind of cool. Like for these other organizations to know who we are already. So that kind of make a statement to like we're doing the right things. As far as like it being this mobile brand and trying to help other games. It's really cool.
So you almost seem like you guys going into other games are now like the Cloud9 or TSM coming into Vainglory. It's like
on a very, very, very small level.
Right, sure.
Cloud 2.
Did you think about changing the name and not using Hammers at all as you made this new venture?
I think Hammers is just kind of, that's like the foundation, right? That's just kind of like our brand and our thing, and just kind of separate like the Halcyon and the Hammers go back to just Hammers Esports, and just made sense. It was pretty easy to come up with a name.
Sure, yeah, I think
everything else is pretty simple. It's what we do here on out. It's going to be the hard part.
Right, and I think that's where the confusing part comes in for a lot of people that aren't following the esports scene or close to the organization. That there's Halcyon Hammers and Hammers Esports, and so like they're different now. And is Halcyon Hammers like completely gone, or is those people still kind of doing that thing focused on Vainglory, or is that totally phased out?
I'm not completely sure. I know the game still exists and the Twitter account still exists, but
you're not part of it anymore.
No, we're not associated with that. No.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so the main teams kind of came over to the esports side then, right?
Correct. We 99.9% of the organization is still intact. There's as you know, Zeno had left like during the transition, but he went to Noble, and Slow Dead joined Noble. So those are the only two like original members that did not come over, and they have pursued other opportunities. So for us, it was a full transition.
Nice. Okay.
Smooth transition.
Nice. So even, I guess, stepping back even further, like what got you guys into Vainglory in the first place? Like, why'd you pick this game and, I guess, go full force into it as you guys have done so far?
You mean as far as community building and stuff?
Yeah, like were you playing other MOBAs and did you just fall in love with this game? What brought you to this community?
I think I kind of originally told my story last time. I'll just kind of go over it really quickly. I did it was part of another mobile community, Heroes of Order and Chaos. Mm-hmm. I played that game for about 2 years. The developers, Gameloft, kind of didn't really buy into the community aspect, and that was really a deal breaker for me. I had spent 2 years in this game, and I was playing this game and giving feedback to the developers and trying to make this game better, and the community was just toxic. It was everything the game was great, but the community, sucked, and the developers didn't have that. So Vainglory comes along, and it had those things that I wanted. It had the game, it had the community, it had, it was even in the early days, the community was there. Like you could go around the Twitch streamers and you could see the developers in there. Like the story I tell people is, like the first week I started playing Vainglory, I go into this guy, and he's like, "Oh, League of Legends is down. I'm going to stream Vainglory." So I'm hanging around. Well, this guy's named Shinkaigen, and you guys may or may not know him,
I don't know.
right?
I've
So it's
never
me and
heard of
Shinkaigen,
them.
and there's like one or two other people. I think like his original followers from League or whatever.
Yeah.
There's this guy named Ed the Shred, and he's in there talking to us, and like, "Oh, I work for Super Evil," and I'm just like, "Oh, this is cool. This is like some guy in the back office, like just like, hey, go out to Twitch and kind of help people transition, into Vainglory." I find out, like a week later, Ed the Shred he's pretty high up there
Yeah.
in the leadership chain. So like for that, just to see that, I was like, wow, he was there for like at least an hour, hanging out, talking to us, answering questions. I was like, done. 2 years of the other game, I was done within days. So
Wow, 2
then
years and then yeah.
yeah, it was pretty easy for me. So
Makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I actually started playing Dota when it originally came out in Warcraft 3. So my twin brother and I were big competitive players there, and I had to stop playing since I had college, I had school, etc. And then Vainglory, I actually found out I worked for Apple as a senior manager, and
Oh,
they
okay.
announced it on the iPhone 6 launch. I was like, whoa, what is this game? It looks so cool, the Kraken, or the graphics. So that's when I downloaded it as soon as it was released on the App Store, and played it since then. And my journey has been, since I've been playing it, I've been in guilds. I've led guilds such as VIP and then Nemesis and now Hammers eSports. So it's been quite a journey. And MOBA's always been what I love. The strategy, to me, it's like 5-dimensional chess. I'm a big chess player as well. So to me, it's like playing chess, but it's like 5-dimensional. It's pretty cool.
Were you as skilled in Dota 2 as you are here in Vainglory, or like?
Yeah, we my brother and I were like the crazy dual combo.
Okay.
I would amplify damage, and he would do a stun combo. I mean, we knew the dynamics and the mechanics really well, and we knew all about the how to draft, etc. So we actually did really well in Warcraft 3. I never actually played Dota 2 or League of Legends, because that was a period of time when I was in college and I was focusing on school. So that's something I missed out on. So I'm glad Vainglory came in, and now I'm back into the whole Dota scene, so to speak. Or more.
Probably a good call. I would have sucked away too much time in school. You probably made the right choice by walking away during that time. But having that past experience, like now coming into Vainglory, like I think it helps with the mechanics and the general, I guess, play style. Very cool. So recently, you guys won the VGL spring qualifiers for the first one. Like, how was that experience and journey of one playing against your sister team, like in the semifinals? And if you wanted to talk about that a little bit, because this qualifier was a little different because it was compressed with only the top 32 teams rather than the 128 or 64 that we've seen over the last couple of months, and the VGL time.
Yeah, it was quite an experience. I mean, we had so much fun. I remember Vane's talking to me like the day before we were gonna match. He's like, "Hey, you want to scrim tonight?" And I tell him, "Oh, our scrim's tomorrow at this time," which was our match in VGL. So that was a great time. I mean, we knew it would be tough playing against Velocity because we scrim against them all the time. They know how we play. We know exactly how they play.
Yeah.
And I knew that we would hopefully beat them on a band draft level, because that's what Kinetic is known for. Is we normally are pretty good with band draft, and I think that we kind of a little bit outdrafted them slightly, but mechanically and skill wise, we're the same. I mean, we have such amazing and talented players on both teams. It could have went either way, to be honest with you. If they went on to the finals, I believe they would have taken the finals as well. Okay. Just the experience with T Tigers and Gabe has been amazing. I mean, we're such a new team. We've been practicing. Tigers has actually been really busy with school. He actually went on a competitive chess tournament for like a weekend.
Wow. Okay.
So we didn't practice for literally like 5 days because he was prepping for like this crazy chess tournament where he would play like 8+ hours a day. And we made use of our time as best as possible to build that synergy. And we're surprised in terms of how well we did. because we didn't practice like 5 hours plus every day. We practiced probably 3-4 times a week for maybe 2 hour chunks at a time,
Okay.
and it just worked out really well. I knew that when Tigers and Gabe and I all kind of talked together and to form this new roster, the main thing is we told each other that we believe in the team and each other.
All
And I
right.
think that's made all the difference. I mean, shot calling, everything has been so smooth with them, and they help with the shot calls or make awesome shot calls themselves. And the synergy just kind of came naturally. And now we're just going to continue to build on that, and hopefully do well the next qualifier and the next championship. So.
How is it playing with Gabe in the jungle now that he had all that experience in the roam? Like, does it help you? Does he like who's the shot caller on the team? Even.
I do most of the shot calls. I do most of the macro shot calls. They probably
Okay.
do the micro shot calls. Gabe has helped me tremendously. I mean, I think he's the heart of our team, to be honest with you, and that's what I told his father as well. Gabe really helps refine and make both of us better. Tigers and I are very aggressive,
Okay.
so we have to learn the hard way playing with him, try to curb that aggressiveness a little bit, and we overextend a lot sometimes. It's kind of like a habit of Tigers and mine.
Okay.
And we really had to kind of hash out those different philosophies in terms of aggression and defense and playing offense, etc. And Gabe's helped me a lot as a roam. I mean, he was the best roam before he joined Kinetic, and he's helped me with a lot of little tips and tricks when it came to the roam position, when it came to how we should push with Kraken and tanking the farm. That's something I didn't do consistently as a roamer. When you tank the farm for lane, you see us doing this a lot, and you see other top teams like Gangstars, Velocity, and Excrucio do this. Is you see their roam will tank the lane farm
Yeah.
as soon as it hits the other wave, so that when the laner takes the farm, they get the Iron Guard bonus gold contract from that, the benefits from that. So there's a lot of things that we kind of worked out from a micro standpoint, and I think from a macro standpoint, we really talked about different rotation strategies, et cetera, that really helped us as a team. And I had to really help coach Tigers and Gabe's around, how to counter rotate, how to get the enemy team on our rotation cycles, things like that from a strategic level. I definitely kind of brought in my skill set as well. And Tigers is just very knowledgeable in lane. He would feed us information that would help us make decisions when it comes to jungle invades, etc. And it worked out really well. All of us are very open to communication. We're open to feedback. Almost every team practice, we would kind of hash out like what went well, what didn't go well at the end of the night, or we talk about it the next day before we start practice, and we focus on what we needed, the two things each of us needed to work on each day going forward. And I think that has worked out really well. I mean, we had measurable improvements from when we started to 4 weeks later, which is really awesome.
Well, yeah, going into that whole qualifier, like adding Gabe, which I believe he had planned to leave before the finals, and I'm sure you guys were in talks ahead of time. So just having that totally change up going into the qualifier, you guys were basically a new team going into it. That had to take a lot to just kind of build that synergy and trust quickly together.
Yeah.
I know at the live championships, like there's something about Dienzio, like rooting for this kid, this underdog kid who's like, I don't know, crazy in lane, and like seeing you guys like have to battle him. I know there's either Halcyon Hammers team, like there's this organization that's like built from the community people were rooting for. So I think either one of you guys, I think the community was behind like in those finals, like rooting for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the most fun matches. I rewatched both those games, and I think it was very neck to neck in those matches. It wasn't really one sided games, and that's what I loved about those matches. It kind of showed the skill level of both teams and how close it could be sometimes in terms of who's the winner and who's the loser. So,
Did either one of you guys hold anything back as far as team wise to let them know? You guys scrim a lot, and I believe what was it? Flash said at some point, like not having those like another sister organization or sister team to scrim against, like it kind of maybe hurts you a little bit. But did you guys hold anything back, like a secret comp that you guys were practicing that they didn't know about or anything?
yeah, we didn't. They didn't play against Tiger Celeste that often.
Okay.
We knew they would pick Vox and probably another hyper carrier like Sky. And we knew we needed Celeste on the back line with two bruisers in the front line and to kind of keep T Tiger safe. And when we engage, we would either let them engage us and do defensive aggression, which you see us run back and then out as Arden, or we would try to catch Veins out because Fortress is not a tank; he's an initiator. So if he doesn't initiate, we can catch him out and delete him first.
Okay.
And all of the strategic points kind of worked out really well in that match because it was neck to neck. I mean, that 17-minute mark, playoff tweeted, and we had the exact same goal, exact same kills at the 27 or the 17-minute mark, which is crazy. I was like, how does that happen? Which is pretty cool. So, I mean, the scrimming and stuff is a lot. Kudos to Rage here. He's helped set that up as like our former head coach. He's really helped us get to scrim together because when we joined, we were pretty casual. We didn't have a kind of training regiment. We're just chilling, as a lot of kids would say, and we really got more formalized training and stuff like that. There's a lot of like official training that Rage does with us that has helped us a lot, especially the one that is talked a lot about from the shoutcasters is the recentering because it's so easy to go on tilt. Right. And I think that it's helped us a lot when Velocity would lose or when Kinetic would lose, we would really talk about the importance of recentering, which is focusing on what we need to do next to win versus kind of talking about why we lost and stuff like that. So that's helped us tremendously. When Velocity lost against TSM that one match, they recentered, and then the next two matches they won and took it away. So that was some awesome stuff that, a lot of teams don't really go through like really formalized training like that.
Yeah, because you can always go back and watch those losses later and be like, okay, well, what happened here? We'll figure that out later. We got to focus on now. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I feel like going into any game at first, it's kind of like a casual experience, but yeah, having that like someone like Rage to help you plan that out and work with the team to be like, no, guys, we got to get on and practice. Like that's got to be a huge help.
I had figured out a long time ago. I mean, several months ago that as you see the VGL qualifiers and the finals, they're getting closer. Like a lot of the top 4, 5, 6 teams could take wins off of each other. Like,
right.
You've got to find your edge, and I've identified very early, especially working with the younger guys when I have Velocity, is like trying to get that mental edge and trying to kind of, grow them into more mature players and kind of approach the thing because that's the saying, right? That the younger kids tilt. That was something that was a mark against old school. Was like old school, if he gets too much pressure on lane, he's going to tilt, and then Zio and everyone else, like you got to focus on that area because it's an area that people really don't study that often, like the psychology aspect of it, mental fortitude. I mean, these are life skills. I mean, these are things you could apply to anything, and you develop them as you get older. You go through life and you handle these situations, whether it be at your employment or if you're on the team. But a lot of these gamers, they don't really they don't understand like the team dynamics. Really, they don't know how to do conflict resolve. They either are very passive aggressive or they're too out there with their emotions. So you got to kind of find that balance, and you've got to kind of like take this team, Brad, like growing up and playing, middle school sports, high school sports, college, like you learn all these things, but these guys aren't learning that. They're going to school. Some may play sports, some may not, but a lot don't. And they come up and they play this game for 6, 7, 8 hours after school, and they're not getting those life skills and those things. So we've seen Velocity, like, again, skill level is the same. You got to find where you're going to make your gains, and that's kind of where I've approached it. This is where we make our money, is our preparing our players mentally.
Sure, yeah. When you're playing that game online, it kind of separates that barrier of people arguing, and the conflict is definitely like it's not always head to head and face to face. It's like, well, I'll just get off and go to bed. I don't need to play with you, like the passive aggressive way.
Exactly.
So
in game 3, it was a close match versus Gangstars, and you could see our synergy start to kind of not come apart, but you kind of see some holes in it. Gabe would kind of dive Iraqi Zoro's Ringo, and then Fuji would come into Scarf, and then I would be like, okay, who do I go with, Gabe or T Tigers? And normally, when we play, we would always kind of peel back and focus the same person. So you could see the loss of focus there. And after game 3, it was such a close game. We kind of threw that game, to be honest. If you look back at it, the next game was just really bad for us. I mean, we were on tilt. Okay. So officially, we were on tilt. You could see me like get a silence off, and we couldn't kind of go through with the ace and stuff like that. And then after that game, we kind of recentered as a team. We kind of like, reference back what Rage taught us and help us really focus that last game to kind of take it through for the win. So if we didn't recenter and we continue to play on tilt and continue to kind of focus on why we lost, I don't think we would have took away the last game and win the final. So I think that was a huge part of that. It's such a mental game, like Rage said. It's not only like a physically kind of talented game, but it's also mentally challenging as well. And I think that mental fortitude is really what pulls champions through.
Okay. So you said you weren't practicing a lot before. You're now practicing more. I know you have a practice here coming up soon. Has it changed now since winning, and maybe the pressure is there a little bit?
Yeah, I think right now I don't want the team to be complacent. So there's a lot of new things that we're looking at already. New comps. If you look at last VIS league, we ran the CP Saw Taka Fortress comp, which actually works really well. We actually ran it a few times more. It's a really good comp, and there's other different things that we're trying. But the main thing is being methodical and persistent. I think consistency is the most important thing to being successful. Is we have to be consistent with our practices, and how we practice is important. We have to continue to review, 2 things that we did well, 2 things that we didn't do well, and make sure that we're learning every day. Each day that we practice, I tell my team is we should be better and better every day. We should be making less and less mistakes, and we should be playing to win. Basically, to me, it's a 15-minute challenge. If we play so well together, we should end every game in less than 15 minutes. And you can see that we do that often in a lot of our games. There's basically no contest to how we're going to take through to win in less than 15 minutes. And that's kind of our goal and our strategy, and everything we do is around winning that game in less than the 15-minute mark. And I think it's working really, really well for us so far. So we'll see how it goes the next qualifier.
Okay. I had DJ Sam's on a recent episode. Do you guys go into the other tournaments, the VMS and the VIS, like with a different mindset than you do VGL, or is it always with the same focus? Or you seeing one a little differently? Like, I don't want to degrade any of the tournaments because it's fantastic what each and every organization and team puts together here, but do you try different things in one versus the other one because maybe the stakes are a little different right now, at least?
Yeah, so VIS, we are going to be a cross-pollinating teams. Like the next week, and I talked to Rage about this, next week it's going to be probably Dienzio, Aloha, and I in the league. It's not going to be the full roster of Kinetic or the full roster of Velocity. We're going to mix and match our teams and our talented players on our teams, which makes it more fun. Okay. And also in VIS, we would take more risk. We never ran the Solid Fortress Taka comp in high tier ever before, and we decided to just run with it. In the VIS. So we're going to be more risky in the VIS, but in VGL, we'll probably be less risky and more kind of cautious in terms of the comps we want. We don't want to run something we never ran before or tested. So I think VGL, the stakes are higher, like Flash said on one of his streams earlier. The stakes are a little higher in VGL, but we do want to win both. And I think VIS is starting to become important in terms of, the brand recognition that it gives, and it is against top teams. So we want to make sure that our record continues to be a winning record in that league as well.
Nice. So moving forward now into the VGL second qualifier and then to the live finals, like what do you have planned? Like what are your hopes again? Like you're guaranteed to go to the live finals, right? With the points, like.
Yeah, I think we're gonna continue. We want to win the next qualifier as well, Velocity and Kinetic, and we want it to be hopefully a Kinetic versus Velocity finals. Okay. That would be great to watch, and we're gonna continue to probably not show all of our cards, but we're gonna play like we've always played and be very consistent. I think we're gonna make sure that we don't make any banning or draft mistakes like we did against in the Nemesis game 2. We made a draft mistake against them, and we kind of lost that match because of the ban draft part of it. So I think that we're going to definitely enter in stronger than we were last qualifier, and I think that's the mindset we need to have because there's so many talented teams. Like Rage said, the top 6, top 7, 8 teams, they can literally take it all the way. So we have to take that competition seriously and respect that, and make sure that we come in as prepared as possible. So
nice. And so are more of you guys going to start streaming too? I know Rage started streaming here and partnered on Twitch, like and Drizzy is partnered, and like many of the Halcyon or Hammers eSports are now partnered.
Yeah, actually, right before this this podcast, I was watching Aloha play.
Oh,
Aloha
nice. Okay.
is doing his first stream, which she's the last corner of the triangle to stream. So Zio started streaming a couple days ago.
Nice.
Vane started streaming a couple days ago. So we're gonna get all those guys online, and they'll be putting out some additional content in the form of guides and videos. So definitely take a look at those coming out pretty soon. But yeah, we're trying to get our our pedigree players up on there. Sui's gonna be streaming here pretty
Yeah,
soon, and as you know, Gabe streams,
Right.
and when you get Tigers up there,
we're gonna get him on Twitter first. We start with
we
Twitter.
get Twitter. Yeah. Tigers is like my grandmother. Like he doesn't want to to deal with anything. Like I don't want Twitter. I don't want to stream. Like what is this technology?
And it's funny because does anyone know what the T stands for in T Tigers?
No, did you?
It stands for terrifying tiger.
Oh.
I don't think a lot of people know that.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, that's pretty cool to see like more Vainglory players getting partnered and streaming because people love to see. I feel like more people streaming is just better for the game as a whole as it grows and moves forward.
Yeah, it's really cool with obviously the deal that Twitch and Super Evil had. Was it 2 weeks now? And
Yeah.
then that pushes a lot more of these like professional players to kind of stream and get out there and kind of promote the game. And it's really cool to see a lot of new streamers out there. Like all of TSM are now streaming, and you're gonna see like a lot more of these teams out there, and it's just gonna grow the community. Like you could go on now onto Twitch, and there's like 20, 30 channels during the prime time, which Brad, you've been streaming on Twitch for Vangler for a very long time. To see all these people out there,
Yeah, I gotta
you
I gotta
guys
figure
seem
out
to-
my partnership. I gotta work that out. What am I doing? I'm doing something wrong over here.
But yeah, it's very cool. You definitely have a lot of options out there, and there's just not just one or two professional players out there on Twitch anymore. So move over. There's a lot of other guys coming around to stream.
Yeah, I love seeing that, and especially you send like if Flash sends his like host someone that's like awesome when like you feel so special when someone like with those couple hundred people or even thousands hopefully soon send you those people and it's like oh my god like I've met you, we've played, like this is really cool because the community's so close like that, like you kind of know everyone who's streaming most of the time.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And then I know we're running out of time here, but I know Gangstars just left for the VIPL. Gangstar Sirius did. And we saw Gangstars and Team Phoenix representing North America here, coming up in Korea. Like, did you guys couldn't go? Did you not want, like, what happened there? Like, I think people would have thought Halcyon or Hammers Esports would have been invited.
Yeah, it's because our starting roster couldn't go, and we didn't want like Gabe, Tigers, and I were such a new team back then when we were invited for it, and Tigers couldn't go because of school, and we needed to work on our team, and we kind of focused on what's best for the team. I think sending a team over there and leaving Tigers behind wouldn't be the best for Kinetic. We wouldn't be where we are now if that was the case. And our Velocity had school too, so I think the key is the Hammers Esports leadership team, and especially Rage, made the decision that I think we have to do what's best for the players. And school definitely comes first for them. Yeah. And there's going to be many more opportunities down the road regarding Worlds, even down the road, and another VIPL hopefully in the summer that we can attend. So yeah, we really wanted to go, but we had to decline the invite, unfortunately. Because we couldn't get a starting roster to go. We didn't want to just put together a team and just send them off, because if we were to go, we want to make sure that we do well. And I think Rage made a good point there, is we don't want to send a team and not do well because the synergy isn't there. We want to send like a Velocity squad or the full Kinetic squad and just take home the trophy for America and for NA. So if we couldn't do that, then we didn't want to risk it and just kind of hodgepodge a team together and stuff like that.
Right, but just because you can shouldn't be the reason to send somebody. Or what are your thoughts on since you guys couldn't go, Team Phoenix going? I think a lot of people were maybe surprised by that, like as you said, like school, and a lot of people just can't go because of work, and we didn't see any EU teams go, I think maybe for the same reason, but you also kind of miss out on the games here. You miss out on the qualifier, you miss out on the the championships that happen because you're over there playing, building this international team.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that Super Evil and OGN picked like the most like stable organizations. They approached a lot of organizations and kind of made sure who could go and who couldn't go. So, I mean, they have their reasons for choosing them, and definitely support Phoenix and hope they do well. It's going to be they're gonna get so much experience as a team and an organization. So it's very cool for them to go over there, and they'll be housing with Gangstars. So, I mean, that's a win in itself, right? They're going to get a lot of
Yeah.
scrims. So that team is going to come back strong, and it's very cool that they're getting that exposure and for such an organization that hasn't been around that long but has definitely done a lot of things right. And I
Right.
definitely admire that organization as a whole. They have a really good PR machine. They put out stuff. Their league is really cool. It's the gold standard right now for community tournaments. So
Hmm.
it's very cool to see that they get the opportunity to go and represent NA.
Yeah, I think I saw Flash said it's somewhere on Twitter or a line chat like the team that they won that they were when they went to Korea was not the team that won. So you kept playing with Gangstars and playing like every day that you're living Vainglory, like you can't do anything else. Like you become
Yeah.
a star at that point when you're focused that much on it.
Yeah, that's a one thing like that's still new in Vainglory is like you get these gaming houses and league and stuff and that like that living in that close proximity and developing those personal relationships is where the teams kind of make their gains. That's like uh it's I can't mess up the term, but that's the goal, right? That's the
Yeah.
gold standard. And like just a few times that Velocity has been able to meet, and then Kinetic met, like that makes such a difference. Like when you're actually friends and you're that you have conversations outside of the game, like that's where like the teams excel. Like you see a lot of teams that are kind of just thrown together, but they just kind of come here and there. But like the long standing teams are the ones that kind of you know go through those growing pains, and they have empathy. Like empathy is really important in
Hmm.
competitive play because you react differently to a friend as opposed to a stranger. I mean that's kind of what the equivalent is like you may um, be a little more harsh on someone you don't know or like a new teammate, but if he's a friend then you kind of okay buddy, you got it, let's go back and let's look at this, and you take feedback a lot better when it's somebody that you respect and a friend. So
And I think the other side, if Nemesis would have went to VIPL, we would have no Nemesis here because there is only really a one main Nemesis team, and we would have kind of lost that maybe rooting for them in the qualifiers and at the finals. So we kind of VIPL eats up that team for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So, what's next for Hammers Esports? Like moving forward with the Vainglory and even outside. I know it's a Vainglory podcast, but I enjoy some Super Senso too. So, are we gonna see an EU team like Gangstars did, or are you gonna any thoughts on that?
um I guess well by the time this hits the Twitter feed and it's published out there, we will be announcing our we have an SCA team
Okay.
that we've actually quite had for some time. We've been kind of waiting on how to announcement when was the right time. But we have Hammers Gavet, and they are playing out the Philippines. They're a top team out there, so definitely look for the news announcement that we're going to be releasing on Monday,
Okay.
so tomorrow, and you get some more details on the players over there and kind of like about that organization.
Oh, awesome. Really exciting that.
Yeah,
So
we
you
had
heard it
that
here
team
first.
actually scrim Velocity too a little while back, which is really fun. So
It'd be fun to, I think, root for the organization because as we see Hunters and any of the other SCA teams, you're kind of like, I don't, I don't know who they are, and I have a hard time watching them. Besides, yeah, it's like, except when maybe autocorrect streams and plays with people. That's I don't know the other people.
Yeah, I think there's. I used to saw Gangstars just expand to EU. I think Infamous picked up a EU team.
Yeah.
Um, I think maybe down the road we'll move to EU, but SCA made a lot more sense
Okay.
for us right now. I think there's a need for more like big organizations out there, and it's kind of weird though, right? Like a lot of like the a lot of the NA organizations kind of expand. I know Ardent picked up a SCA team, Gangstars
Okay.
picks up a EU team, so I think it's very cool to see like not only are we trying to do well in our own regions, we're expanding as a community, which is just awesome because you get that infrastructure. A lot of these teams they have the skills, they have the skill set, but they don't have the infrastructure to kind of to push the brand or to kind of
Right.
to be successful because that's the phase we're in right now. It's like you can't just be good. You have to have the infrastructure. You have to have the management. You have to have the staff to carry you to that next level and to maintain it. Because the consistency is where you know you make your gains and kind of make your name is like this brand names that have been around for a long time and they're always near the top and that doesn't happen by accident. It's a lot of hard work behind the scenes.
Right. That's all right. Exciting to see that and see where you guys go with everything and moving forward. Definitely be rooting for you guys here as you play and yeah, exciting times. For anyone that wants to get in touch with you guys or Hammers Esports, like what's the best place to do that? Twitter, website?
Yeah, you could definitely hit us up on Twitter. We have a new website. Our Twitter handle is at Hammers Esports, all one word, and hammersesports.com. Pretty simple website.
Okay.
And we just relaunched it last week, I believe. And
New logo looks great, by the way.
thank you.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very cool. But yeah, we got a really clean website out there now, and you could definitely check out some of the other games that we're going to be venturing into. Super Senso, Sea Ops, possibly some Hearthstone, some Clash Royale. Trying to hit the big mobile titles, and definitely have a presence there because this is the dream is to have this mobile esports organization to just other games and kind of we call Vangler our home, but we want to make other communities because we want to share that community experience with these other games because they don't really have the same thing. Like I've never been part of any other game, whether it's mobile or not, that has such an awesome community. And I think if the communities are going to grow, if they don't grow within, they could definitely be influenced by organizations like ours, and kind of give them our growing or here's what we saw, here's our here's things that we saw successful in our community and apply those to theirs. So
nice. And then Sue, how could people find you or streams or what Rage? What days are you streaming? And then do you have a schedule yet?
Yeah, I stream Monday through Friday, usually like 10 a.m. Eastern, so 7 o'clock for
the
West Coasters. I usually pick up like right after like all the EU guys. Everyone's waking up, so wake up angry.
I'll probably be streaming 3 to 4 times a week with Twitch. Next week I just got to get everything set up. You guys can find me on Twitter. It's at SuiJeneris. That's my Twitter handle, and in-game hopefully, and also through the website as well.
Nice. Well, thank you guys for joining me. This was awesome to hear your guys' story and hear the transition into Hammers Esports. Exciting time for the game, and as we move into what sounds like an awesome update coming soon when these new Rome heroes hit and these new changes to the items and stuff, I'm excited for this game moving forward. But that does it for episode 95 of Shatter the Vain. All these episodes are available on shatterthevain.com. Links to iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube videos. So any way you want to watch or listen to it, it's all there. And I'm at Shatter the Vain on Twitter. So we'll be back soon, probably with a 1.17 patch rundown very soon. Take care.
Shatter the Vain.
Let's get this over with.